the McLaren's battling for position right behind.
How about David Malukas in the red, white, and black car there around the outside as the caution flies for Benjamin Peterson, the number 55 AJ Foyt driver.
Completely hit from behind.
Saying he got hit from behind, you see damage to the back of that car, you see damage to the front. Big contact there. As you said, though, David Malukas, the star of the start there, will be interesting to see what position he gets to take.
Don't know where he thought he was going.
Based on where he was when the caution came out.
He's shown third on timing and scoring for now, and I believe he might have been third when the caution came, but it goes to the last timing loop.
Yeah, he may have been third on track, but if the previous timing loop he was further back. Let's take a look at the start. You see Benjamin Peterson, the red car right at the top of your screen there. He's got Ed Carpenter behind him, it looks like.
Ton of oil dry down low, and yeah, that is bizarre. Ooh, that was Ed right in the back of him?
Ed just, yeah, maybe, here we go, on board with Ed Carpenter. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's a tough break for Benjamin Peterson there.
Well, and more than likely a drive-through maybe for Ed Carpenter coming, as you see Peterson was backwards at about 160 miles an hour. That's not a good feeling.
Back to green. And Malukas is going to try to go around the outside of Pato O'Ward, side by side into one.
McLaren teammates side by side behind him. A lot of two-wide racing. You see Alexander Rossi, Felix Rosenquist in those orange, blue, and black McLarens.
I'll tell you who made a great move is the rookie, Linus Lundqvist in the 60 car, was super aggressive. He's side by side with Will Power. Now Lundqvist tucks in behind Power, but he got a great jump.
So Grosjean got ahead of Power on that restart. That was Power trying to respond back. Now you on board with that Auto Nation car. He's got a lot of clean air at the bottom as Grosjean pushes Power up top.
Talk about a guy who is ticking every box in his audition. Lundqvist now seeing pressure from Palou, but Lundqvist showing that he is a top 10 IndyCar driver right out of the gate.
Palou, that's the championship leader in the blue and white American Legion car. Palou with a big lead in the championship. Really, the only way he doesn't win that championship is he crashes out of two of the final three races. How aggressive will he be?
And watch behind Palou, the number 3 of Scott McLaughlin, the pole sitter, the fastest car in qualifying, had the engine penalty, had to go back 9 spots. Now McLaughlin is coming forward, Dylan.
So, Kevin, you were talking about this early yellow and what it does for strategy. Here was some radio between strategist Kyle Moyer and his driver, Scott McLaughlin.
Okay, Scotty, you could open the door for a 3-stopper now. It saves it. Yeah, but once you get tipped in it, we can save later. Right now, it would be a code 140.
So these guys that are running kind of within the top 10, just inside the top 10, if they can't move forward early here, they're going to settle in and try and save and maybe make it a 3-stop.
Now this is a track where you can actually save quite a bit of fuel. It's tough to do on an oval compared to a road or street circuit. A lot harder for the driver to adjust their inputs to try to save that fuel. But here at Gateway, just kind of a unique track, tough place to pass. You can get it done.
Sato getting the wall.
He's off the pace.
Moving a little slowly for sure.
He had a moment in practice where he came slow and missed the wall by inches and eventually gathered it up, and he's still trying to pedal again.
And this is a point in the race where we start to talk about marbles, the spent little bits of rubber that accumulate offline, and potentially Sato on cold tires slid up the track like he is right now. That's a live shot, not a replay, but maybe that's what happened to him earlier.
He doesn't seem to be making moves for pit lane. Let's try to take a look at a replay here. This is coming off of 2, yeah, way high. Coming off of turn 2 on his outlap. Doesn't quite get to the wall, but as you said, those marbles, those little bits of rubber that come off the tire as we see a pass here. Colton Herta under challenge from Pato O'Ward in the black and orange car. And now Felix Rosenquist, he's going through as well. That's 2 spots down
This
for Colton.
is the part of the stint where you've got to try to hang on. If you're going to make it a 3-stopper for Colton Herta, the team's telling him to stay out. But I don't think he can. He's about to lose control.
And right before this, David Malukas got by Colton Herta, so Herta is dropping like a rock. He has to bail and pit, and now the problem is if a caution comes out after you pit, your chance is likely over.
Yeah, you can lose a lap. You will lose a lap pitting under green to the leader, Newgarden, and it commits Colton effectively to a 4-stop race. Dylan.
So on the radio, Colton Herta was getting instruction from the crew to save the right front. So that was kind of the instruction for him. They'll go ahead and just put another set of primaries on here and send Colton back out, but was dropping in a hurry. They wanted to get him in and get some new tires on.
Will Power will go black tires and Dixon the reds, Georgia.
Absolutely. Both of these teams, Will Power now in. He's going with those Firestone black tires. Dixon on a little bit of a different strategy, going with the Firestone alternate tires. Will Power away. Dixon also away.
So that opens up options for both of them as we watch Joseph Newgarden coming by in that blue and white PPG Chevy. He is going to regain the lead of the race, but Power and Dixon went 3 laps longer, so they're getting better tire life along with the fuel mileage.
I'll tell you who made out well in that pit stop sequence was Colton Herta, who was really struggling, but did the undercut to go to fresh tires and is able to hang on, mount back up to second place is the 26.
And as we see Will Power there, he's coming to pit lane now.
Way early. He went the longest on his first stint, Georgia.
That is absolutely correct. And I see the red tires. So the black tire Firestone's coming off, the reds going on, and filled with Shell fuel. He's down and away. Dylan, Pato?
Pato Award is on his way in, so he ran about 42 laps or so on these alternates and said, I've got to come. These are starting to fall off here, so that Will Anderson made the call. Come down, they'll put the primaries on, and he also will be done with the alternates for the day. They'll put the four primary tires on. Pato's been happy with the balance, just needs to try to find a way to get around Newgarden. Georgia.
Joseph Newgarden brings the 2 to the attention of his crew. The reds come off, the blacks go on. They're filling that 2 up with Shell fuel, and he's down and away.
He's just covering Pato Award. He doesn't want Pato out there on fresh tires doing that undercut strategy we talked about.
Absolutely. So where will they blend out? Award was about a second back of Newgarden under green flag conditions. So Newgarden will exit pit lane up top on board with Pato Award coming around through turns 3 and 4 to the front straightaway.
Clear racetrack for Pato on his outlap. That's important. So Joseph off the button now. Pato across the start-finish line. It's going to be tight when he comes.
Going to be really tight.
Off of turn 2. There goes Colton Herta, David Malukas, and Pato Award's right there. But Joseph's not up to speed yet. His tire's still a little cold.
Stuck in a little bit of traffic here, but I think he's pulled it off. So really even pit stop cycles between Team Penske and Arrow McLaren.
Yeah, I think that's actually Felix Rosenquist immediately behind him. I apologize. Pato Award is right there looking on the inside of, I guess that's Agustin Canapino in that green and black car up front. The yellow square on the attenuator there indicating it's a rookie.
And Rosenquist, Malukas, Herta have not made their second stops yet.
So their advantage could be if a caution came out, that significantly turns the tables in their favor. But if it doesn't, how much lap time are they going to lose here on the older tires?
Pro ahead, he has not stopped yet. Newgarden right in front of him.
And I think if you're Colton Herta, who leads right now, Rob Edwards will want to push him deep into the stint to shorten up the time he runs the reds. Saw Rosenquist have a big wiggle coming out of turn 4. There goes Award. Wow, that was a little too close for comfort.
Big dive, huge commitment there. Heard that his teammate hadn't stopped on old rubber. Decided to just fire it in there to get back onto the gearbox now of Joseph Newgarden.
This is an opportunity for Pato Award with Newgarden trapped just a little bit behind Malukas. Award could try to pounce right here. Here he comes.
Here we go.
And this is for the effective lead of the race. Even though it is for 12th right now, the others ahead need to stop. Award trying to slow down the oval dominance of Joseph Newgarden and break through.
The last thing Newgarden wants is a penalty for blocking. He's got to be careful not to get too aggressive. This race still not even to half distance.
Pato Award has finished second 4 times on ovals to Joseph Newgarden. He's tired of that. He's going to look for the opportunity today, trying to get his first win of the season.
And this is the best phase of the race to do it right after a pit stop. Your tires are fresh. They've got the most grip. They haven't started to degrade yet. If you're going to get it done, now's the time to do it. Pato knows that. And now Ed Carpenter comes out right in front of them. That's going to slow up Newgarden massively.
Maybe not.
It's still going to do it if he... Oh! That shutting of the door is just going to... Look at the momentum lost
And
for Pato.
And Ed is not really trying to do anything evil to Pato O'Ward. He just didn't want to be up on the dirty side of the racetrack. Came right across the bow of Pato, and that's just bad luck for O'Ward.
Yellow down here, yellow turn 2.
And now Scott Dixon, as Sato goes around, has a huge advantage.
That's exactly what Scott Dixon wanted to see. Everybody from 9th back is technically a lap down right now because he has not pit. He will pit and come out at the tail end of that. I mean, Canapino, same thing. He'll come out effectively in 8th place.
I don't know if Dixon wanted to see that, and here's why.
Because now we can't make it. Well, now everybody can make it on.
Everybody can make it on 2 more stops, and it puts him to the back. Oh, Sato was trying to get to the wall a couple of times earlier, and it finally got him.
Scott Dixon, he is headed down to pit lane. He needed to stop soon. A couple of others did as well. The question will be, did anybody else come? Yes, Joseph Newgarden is also coming 20 laps after he last stopped, Georgia.
Absolutely, and the team asked Joseph before this stop, what do you need? Joseph said, I need a little bit more wing. Those tires came off. The black tires went on. Scott Dixon already in the pits as well. The red tires, the alternate tires, those are off. Black's back on. Dixon is down on pit lane.
I did not see that coming. Newgarden coming in.
We've seen in the past here how much fresh tires mean. Dylan.
A couple other cars in. You see Marcus Ericsson is in. Scott McLaughlin in at the bottom of the screen as Ericsson's got a problem there on the top of the screen. McLaughlin didn't get a chance to run the reds in practice, so this is a break for them to be able to get them off after just a couple laps.
Where all the wheels attached.
Left rear of Ericsson was not on the race car.
What a devastating blow. We were trying to get to him earlier. This driver had been doing such a great job starting from 15th in a backup car that only run 2 laps on the weekend so far in qualifying and was just methodically getting his way up into the top 6, top 5 almost, and he was sorted. This is just devastating.
Not the end of the world though for Ericsson, unless he didn't lose a lap in that situation, did he? No.
Here we go again. And Pato O'Ward is trying to go to the outside of Joseph Newgarden. Dixon gets a good start. Newgarden holds off for second. And there's David Malukas in that black and white and red car trying to find some spots.
High side for Scott McLaughlin in the red and white machine, but it was 4 wide before, as we see now.
Oh, they touched!
Going for the lead. Pato O'Ward into 3. Can't make it happen.
Hip check between O'Ward and Newgarden at the battle for second place. That was close. And O'Ward is mad.
I think he's got reason to be. That was a little bit aggressive from the 2. I said going for the lead. Yeah, I'm correct. Yeah, going for second place there. Scott Dixon kind of running away into the lead now. But that was a close call.
I understand, man. We saw it.
McLaughlin and David Malukas still going at it. Malukas now coming back to the high side. These 2 might touch.
They battled at the end of the race last year.
To say a repeat of a year ago, and like a year ago, the young David Malukas pulls off the outside move on McLaughlin.
His comment after the race last year was, I looked up and there were Penske's and I passed one of them. He just passed another Penske. David Malukas is charging.
Got a couple McLarens lined up in front of him now. That's Alex Rossi right in front in the blue and orange. Then you've got that lapped car of Elio Castroneves before Pato O'Ward running up in 3rd place. Remember, McLaughlin qualified on pole. Your fastest qualifier had to take a penalty for an engine change. Started down in 10th and slowly making his way up into this race.
Look at some of the others in the top 10 having great days. This would be the best day of the season for Rinus VeeKay in 7th. And Santino Ferrucci, who topped off early, he has satisfied the alternate requirement. He runs an 8th for AJ Foyt. Remember, he finished 3rd this year. Best result for AJ Foyt Racing in over 20 years at the Indianapolis 500.
Ferrucci started 26, but that was because he was going for it in qualifying. And on his second qualifying lap, he had a huge moment right here in the middle of turns 3 and 4. He walked the car up the track with his hands, kept it out of the fence, but he had the speed. Meanwhile, Dixon starting to feel some heat from the PPG car, Joseph Newgarden.
And look, these drivers can do this on 1 more stop, but it's not going to be easy to do it on 1 more stop. It's going to take a bit of fuel saving. It's going to take a bit of tire conservation to make that happen.
I think it's going to be difficult.
So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens there late in the race.
This is something I'm watching right here. The number 12 of Will Power. We're looking out the back, but out the front of Power is Alex Palou. Remember, Will Power is teammates, Team Penske teammates to Joseph Newgarden. He knows if he can put the move on Palou, that puts the points championship even tighter. Right now as they run, Palou is 69 ahead of Scott Dixon, who would be ahead of Newgarden, and 81 back is Joseph Newgarden.
Big defensive move right there from Will Power on Felix Rosenqvist. Felix on those reds. Got a little bit of extra grip fresh off that restart. Shut the door big time.
This is unexpected. Pato Award coming in. Dylan.
Yeah, and so they're going to have to make another stop with 96 to go. They're not going to make it to the end here. Pato just, I think they're just trying to do something different. They've kind of just plateaued and run in that third spot. So Pato will put, again, another set of sticker primaries on. Behind him, his teammate Felix Rosenqvist. He just completed his run on the alternates. So they'll get done with those and put a set of primaries on for the 6.
I like the idea. If you don't think you can do it on one more stop, and you're hoping others struggle with it as well.
Here's another one that knows he can't make it. Newgarden in. Georgia.
Newgarden makes his way to the attention of his crew. The Firestone tires coming off, the sticker blacks going back on. They're going to fill that Hitachi Team Penske number 2 up with Shell fuel, and he's down pit lane.
Gotta think Dixon's going to come in now to cover on that strategy.
Well, that's going to be
stretch it.
I mean, that's just it, right? He's got to cover.
I think they stay with what they're doing, but I think those behind said, if we do the same thing Scott Dixon is doing, we're not going to beat him. We need to do something different.
Yeah, but if Dixon stretches this, they're now a lap down to Scott Dixon.
You're not going to out Dixon, but he is going to have to save an awful lot of fuel, and it's going to be awful hard on tires. No one seems to be able to do it as we watch Scott McLaughlin now into pit lane, Dylan.
So a couple more cars. Alexander Rossi was right in front of him. McLaughlin just has struggled with the handling these last couple of runs. I think they're going to make a big front wing change here. Sticker set of Firestones going on, and you see it 2 turns for McLaughlin, just trying to get the balance a little bit more in the window. Alexander Rossi a little bit further down pit road as well. Been fairly happy with his race car. Alex Palou in as well. They told him he's on a different strategy, but they wanted him under green to go track down Ericsson to try to be the leader on that alternate strategy, Georgia.
David Malukas also on pit lane. Sticker blacks off, sticker blacks going back on. They filled it up with fuel, and he's on pit lane.
Interesting. I mean, Dixon has not come in yet. He's had a couple tours.
He's going to try to do it. He's got 25 more laps to go if he's stretching this thing. How much fuel is the master trying to save? I love what you said earlier. You're not going to out Dixon. No truer words have ever been spoken.
You're not going to do it, but I just wasn't sure if because of the track position they'd inherited with that other yellow, he was keeping Newgarden behind him. So why not just cover him, stay on the same strategy? It's an interesting call here, Georgia. What do you know from down on the timing stand?
Well, it's been a little up in the air whether or not Dixon was trying to save fuel, but more and more they're telling him work on that number. Everyone is doing the same thing that you're doing. Just keep working on it. You're doing a great job.
Well, let's see if we can pull up telemetry. We don't have an onboard for Scott Dixon, but we do have Firestone telemetry. So let's watch that throttle trace as he comes through turn 4. How early does he breathe it? Pretty big coast phase there, James.
That's a huge coast phase.
I mean, is there a chance he can do it?
Yes, of course there's a chance. This is Scott Dixon. This is the 9 stand.
Berta getting ready to bail. Good job.
And what I also think he can do now without Newgarden and Pato Award pressuring him, he can back it down even more. So we'll keep an eye on those lap times. 27.1 right now. Ericsson at 26.4 last time behind him. Herta 26.5. You just heard Mike Hull say Herta is about to bail.
And now he is in. 65 laps to go. It'll be 64 when he crosses the line. Stingray Robb right in front of him. Hopefully that doesn't slow him up too much getting into his pit box. Everything here is crucial now.
I think Stingray was the perfect draft partner for Scott Dixon, the perfect pace to save the mileage. Georgia coming to you with 65 to go.
Yeah, this pit stop crucial for Dixon to take him to the end. Tires go off, tires go right back on. They are loading the 9 up with fuel. They asked him if he wanted any changes to stop. He said, we're okay. His last stop, 126. It's now 64 laps to go for Dixon.
Romain Grosjean also in the pits on that strategy, but Dixon had 20+ seconds on Grosjean. He'll maintain it as you see Grosjean now just coming to his box, Dylan.
Grosjean went 62 on the first stint, so he's going to have to go a little bit longer than that here, but they have been preaching to him for probably the last 10 minutes or so. Just save as much as you can. Save, save, save. So it's going to be more of a save here for Grosjean on this final stint, but hopefully the final stop for the 28 team as they try and pack it full of fuel.
So he's a lap better than Dixon at this point, but he's not got the track position to Dixon. There's
he
Dixon
might
right
lose
over
a
there.
lap to Scott Dixon. That's Dixon on the blend out. Dixon just lapped Grosjean.
Car, that will be the leader on this strategy, you and him, because I head out back to the 06.
I don't believe he's lapped him. Would he have lapped him?
Yeah, because
Was he that far ahead?
Grosjean was 24, 25 seconds back. I believe so. We'll see when they cross start finish. There's Dixon running P11 as they are right now. And yes, Grosjean is a lap down.
Wow, okay, so that has really put Scott Dixon kind of in a league of his own. All the cars in front have to pit. And we know the time loss on pit lane is about, what, 34, 35 seconds?
Yep.
And the gap to the leader right now is
9.
is not much. It's 10 seconds.
Yep.
And if he's sitting in a line, he can save that fuel even more effectively. And right now, he's in a nice little line. And Newgarden has pit.
Covering
Covering
on
those
the
cars.
Rosenquist, covering on Marcus Ericsson.
So do we see the two McLarens of O'Ward and Rossi come in on this next time by?
Well, they're going to lap.
One's
Newgarden,
out.
so I think they might sit out and ride now.
Hope for the yellow.
We saw Ward go by, and there goes Alexander Rossi to put Newgarden a lap down.
And if you could stay out and get a yellow, you also would have the advantage of having fresh Firestones for a restart.
Yeah, I mean, the yellow would be great, but that's a big risk right now for these cars running up front. They're now, I mean, you've trapped some guys a lap down, but
I like it. Push on the undercut strategy. So, sorry, O'Ward is pushing right now. I think because they've got clean air, they know they're going to have to take advantage of that to cover.
Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing.
I think no was the answer he was looking for on the radio. Am I pushing to the box or what am I doing? But no, he's just trying to knock out some fast laps. Maybe, where did Newgarden come out? If Newgarden is in clean air, it's bad news for Pato O'Ward. If Newgarden's stuck in traffic, and I believe he is.
Yes, he is.
He is stuck right there behind Devlin DiFrancesco for Andretti Autosport, and he gets way high.
Oh, no!
He's going in.
No!
And the
Newgarden
streak
into the fence.
is coming to an end. The first driver in 100 years that had a chance to sweep an entire season of oval racing with more than one race will not happen, and ends up in the wall for Joseph Newgarden. We stay green.
But this is one damaged race car. You can tell by the steering. And as soon as that happens, Alex Palou crosses start finish, and the points as they run right now, 107 over Newgarden, but Dixon within 83.
But Newgarden hasn't fallen all the way down yet, and Dixon is still probably going to cycle up to the front.
Look at this action. Look at Malukas going too wide with McLaughlin. They touch. McLaughlin up in the gray. McLaughlin saves it.
Unbelievable save from Scott McLaughlin, but he's going to keep losing positions as he would have picked up so much dirt and debris on those tires. These pit sequences can be so chaotic as we see Pato O'Ward now in pit lane.
How do you keep track of all this, Kevin? It's going crazy right now.
Well, we know
McLaughlin still has dirt on his tires.
Malukas and McLaughlin have been hooked together here for the last 2 years. Pato O'Ward is going to make his final stop. On the bottom, we see Joseph Newgarden. How much damage is there? The championship is not going to be an option. Then there were two. It's between Dixon and Palou. Dylan.
Pato O'Ward is in. They wanted to stay out longer, I think, but with all that action, probably safer to bring him in here, make sure they get their last stop done. That's the case for Pato. He's down and away, Georgia.
Joseph Newgarden sits on pit lane. Championship hopes ending. He said to his team, I went for it. It's a right rear toe link, and that's what they're trying to fix right now on the two-car Joseph Newgarden.
He was looking for a 6th straight win on an oval. The only driver ever to do that was A.J. Foyt who won 7 in a row in 1964. He could have swept the season. He could have won 4 straight at the same track for the first time since Al Unser Jr. at Long Beach in the late 80s and early 90s. He's still got the Indy 500 in his back pocket for the season.
Oh, it's still been a decent year for Joseph Newgarden and the Tasty Twos, as they're affectionately known, but still, you got to be sitting in there just devastated for this guy. And there you go, David Malukas on Scott Dixon to unlap himself. We just saw Will Power, he's now pit, which moves Malukas up into third, as has, so Kirkwood must have pit as well.
And what that does mean is if there was a caution and everyone decided to pit for fresh Firestones, Malukas could come in with Dixon and a Ward and be on the same lap at that scenario. You saw Will Power just bail out just a moment ago.
And there he goes by Dixon. That's taken one of the 2 laps he was down away. So now Kirkwood 1 lap down, but he's all the way in 18th position. He's got those alternates on, so obviously he was waiting to the end to satisfy the tire rule, and he's going to try to rock it with just 11 laps to go on that fresh rubber. Here comes Rossi now, trying to unlap himself. Running 4th, mission on board, see Scott Dixon, the leader, in front.
He'll be perfectly happy to just let these guys go and continue to hit his number, and most importantly, stay in the groove. We saw that from Newgarden. The biggest risk for Dixon right now is to have something happen where he gets pushed up into the marbles, which undoubtedly have accumulated massively with all this green flag running.
There you go, you see the points as they run down to 74. Palou picked up a couple spots there. It was even smaller than that a few laps ago. But with 54 points on offer at each race, it's still wide open.
Look at the nice cushion of air Scott Dixon is managing in front of him. He's not pressing too hard, just enough to stay ahead of Rossi so as not to cause any issues. Lap and a half to go. Dixon educating, humbling the field.
Scott Dixon has done it in every way imaginable. Straight up pace, strategy, fuel saving, daring racecraft. Today there's a little bit of everything, but it's one of those that perfectly sums up Scott Dixon. You look up and he's in front, and the race is turned upside down. 2 weeks ago, the question was whether Dixon could extend his record-extending seasons with a win, and he's going to win back-to-back. Scott Dixon has done it again. Dixon wins at World Wide Technology Raceway and keeps his championship hopes for number 7 still alive.
And wait for it. Wait for it. Keep watching your screen here, guys. Second place has not yet crossed the line. 22 seconds. 22 seconds was the margin of victory. He didn't just win it, he absolutely decimated them with that strategy, with that masterful drive. He could have backed off 7/8 of a lap and still finished at the front. What an incredible drive from Scott Dixon. Pato Award second, and then big props to Lil Dave Malukas getting back on the podium 2 years in a row here at Gateway.
You and this team continue to do what you guys do and find yourself in the lead and flip these races upside down time after time.
It's all these guys, man. Chip steers the ship, but just so proud of the team, so happy for everybody. You know, we took a pretty good grid penalty today with one of those changes, but we had to go the alternate route, and it worked out perfectly. Definitely with the tires, it was hard to kind of keep them on, but this team were perfect, man. They gave me the number I needed to be getting, so massive thank you to everybody at PNC Bank number 9 crew. And how about that Honda mileage there, man? I had so much fun driving my Honda today.
It was impressive. The points gap sits at 74 right now, back to Palou, headed to the final 2 races. You've got a shot. That's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah, we won't lift until we're totally out of it. But I know everybody on this team does a tremendous job to be 1-2 in the championship right now, and for all of us to have such a great year. You know, it's a shame that our wins came kind of later in the season, but we'll keep pushing here and see what we can come up with.
They're back to back. Are you hitting your stride at the right time?
I hope so. It'd be a lot of fun. You know, maybe I get a little tense within the team here, but no, I think we'll keep working hard as a team and see what we got in the next few races.
Watch the PitNile.com Grand Prix of Portland, Sunday, September 3rd at 3 p.m. on NBC.